Welcome students for online classes. Today we'll continue with the chapter 2, that is Indian economy ranging from 1950 to 1990. Okay, in this video we'll study about the agricultural sector. Okay, first before knowing the reforms, let's study about the problems faced by the farmers. First thing is a lack of irrigation facility. So what happened in that particular year when there was no proper facilities given to the given by the government to the farmers, there was no proper irrigation facility also. So what used to the farmer used to always depend upon the rains. So that was one of the negative things. So this is one of the problems. Secondly, the small and scattered holdings. Now what does this particular thing mean? Now what happens? I have a parent and we are the siblings of 9 members. So my parent has 1 acre of land, so he need to distribute that particular 1 acre of land with our 9 siblings. So what happens? One whole agricultural land will be cut into pieces and 9 pieces will be made within that particular 1 acre of land. So what happens? Only small piece of land for the cultivation process will be left with our particular siblings. That is known as small and scattered holdings. Now why is this particular small and scattered holdings is a problem? Okay, so what happened when my parent used to cultivate the food crops in the land, he used to get good productivity. Okay, he used to get good productivity, good production, good price, good income. So when it came to us, that is our siblings, our generation, what happens? The land was cut into pieces. So when we need to segregate our house with the other house, what do? We put a compound around. So what happens? The place for the compound, it will go. So that particular place also, what my parent used to do, he used to even cultivate in that particular place. So what happens now? My cultivation process or my percentage of the cultivation started declining. That is known as the problematic thing under small and scattered holdings. Later we'll see how the reforms were made. And the main thing is the deficit of institution of the finance. So what happens? It is very much necessary for a farmer to get a proper finance or a farmer to get necessary money for the cultivation process. So what happened in that particular point of time, as there was no proper banks, as there was no proper safety given for the money given, that is one of the major problem faced by the farmers in the year 1950. So now let's know the reforms or the changes in the agriculture. Now what does reform mean? The word reform means the recreation of the old system. Old system in the sense, as we saw some of the problems earlier, so that problems will be changed. That is known as reforms. So under reforms of agriculture, there are two main reforms. First is the land reform, second is the general reform. First, let's know the land reforms. The meaning of land reform is reforming or changing the land relations on the agricultural system, okay, or the agricultural sector. So what happens? We change the old sector, we change the old problematic things to the new, so that there will be no problems arising in the agricultural sector. Okay, so the first problem or the first solution for the problem is the abolition of intermediaries. Now this particular abolition of intermediaries is also known as removal of zamindari system. So what happened earlier? That is when Britishers were ruling or after British went off, that is we took all the necessary economical system, we took all the planning things in the year 1950. So before to that, the 3 years, that is 1947, 1948, 49, what were the 3 years doing? So there was a lot of problems faced by our farmers. That is one of the problem is the zamindari system, where the owner of the area will come and collect tax with the owner of the lands. That is also known as the tillers of the lands. So what the owner of the area used to do, even in spite this is my 1 acre of land, what happens? I had to pay the tax to the owner of this particular area. So that is known as zamindari system. So what happened? When the collection of taxes made, the farmers didn't produce much. Why didn't they produce much? because they knew that the fixed percentage of the amount would be taken by this particular zamindars. Taking up or adopting new technology wouldn't have helped the farmers also. So what happened? So the common thing what the farmer thought is that if a farmer produces, he has the majority of the portion to be given to the zamindar. So what happened in the earlier time? Majority in the sense 50% of the income earned from the cultivation, the farmers used to give it to the zamindar. So that was a basic things. The area owner, that is the zamindar, had to collect the money from the owner of the land. So that was one of the negative thing for the farmers in that particular economy, which was very much problematic thing. So even in spite of doing the hard work, what happens, the farmers had to pay most of the money to the zamindars. So the first thing the government changed is the removal of zamindars. Okay. Okay, then by this what happened, that is by this in the sense by the removal of zamindari system, where zamindari system is also called as land tenure system. And what happened by this, the land was directly used by the landowners, or also known as tillers of the land. So what happened, the approximate money, or the owners of the land at that particular point of time had 200 lakh ownership provided to the farmers. So what happened, 2 lakh ownership of the land, or half of the 200 in the sense 100 lakh ownership was going to zamindars at that particular point of time. But government made a good initiative in the year 1950, so that there was an abolition of zamindari system, and the farmers or the owners of the land had to cultivate their products and sell it into the market safely, freely. Okay, so after this what happened, after this when the britishers left, or the when the zamindars, when the government made a good decision at that particular point of time, what happened, so the farmers came to know that the increase in the productivity would have increase in the income level, or the earning level of that particular farmer, or that particular land would give a good yield or the good productivity. So the abolition of intermediaries gave a good impact to the farmers. Okay, now the next thing, that is ceiling on land holdings. Now first let's know the meaning, that is the fixing of maximum amount of land which an individual can hold. Now what is this fixing of maximum amount of land? I'll give an example. If the government declares the maximum land a person can hold is only 5 acres. So what happens if I will be having 10 acres of land, but my friend is having only 1 acre of land. So at that particular point of time, what does land ceiling apply here? So my leftover, what was the maximum declaration of the land, that was only 5 acres to be kept with the land owner. So I used to give the leftover land to my friend, so that there will be equality in our current economy. So each and everybody in the economy had to keep only the fixed or the maximum percentage of the land. Okay. So by this what happened? What happened from this? On the eve of independence, what was our objective? Our objective was to bring the equality or equity among everybody in the economy. So that is known as equal distribution of land under the land ceiling. So the government decided the maximum amount of land to all the farmers, so that there will be a ceiling which will be equal to everyone. If you have more than max, as told earlier, what happens if you have more than maximum amount of land, then the extra land is provided, or which will be given to the government or to your friends, so that there will be a equal distribution among the land. So that is the basic thing under the ceiling of land holdings, where there will be equal distribution of income, there will be equal distribution of productivity, there will be equal distribution of income over the all the sectors of the economy. Okay, the next thing is combination of land holdings. The problem which we studied earlier was the small and scattered holdings. So the reform for the small and scattered holdings is the combination of land consolidation of land holdings. So the meaning of consolidation of land holdings is the combination of a whole. So what did I tell earlier? My parents had 1 acre of land and we were 9 siblings. So the land was divided into 9. Now what does the consolidation of land holdings tells is that This particular 1 acre of land, which was divided into 9 pieces, can be combined together and made all the production process together, and the income and the end income or the end result will be distributed equally for all the 9 members in my family. So that is known as consolidation of land holdings. Understood? I'll repeat again what happened under scattered, small scattered, where my parent had 1 acre of land and our siblings had distributed that 1 acre of land with 9 pieces. So what happened? There was no proper productivity, there was no proper usage of technology. Why? Because in the olden days we used to use the bullock carts, or we used to dig the or plow the fields with the help of uh, bulls. So now later when the adoption of technology came, we used to use the tractors. So to keep one particular tractor also you need place. So when there is small holdings, what happens, there was no proper place for the tractor to move further and backward. So that is one of the major problem under small and scattered holdings. But when it came to consolidation of land holdings, what happened, there was ease of doing everything in a sense. There was ease in plowing the field, there was ease in doing the production process, that is cultivating the food grains, and there was ease in doing the marketing. When some of the people used to work in the land, some of the people could have done the marketing work also, and the income earned was distributed with all the 9 of the members. That is known as the consolidation of land holdings. Okay, the next thing is cooperative farming. Cooperative farming means combination of many farmers for a better price. Okay, so what happens? I will give you an example of tomatoes. So what happens? You go to a shop, you purchase 1 kg of tomato which is of a price of 30 rupees, and you come back, the owner will not give you any discount, or either he will not give you extra tomatoes. But when you purchase in bulk, what happens? When you purchase 30 kgs of tomatoes or 50 kgs of tomatoes, what happens? You will be known to that owner of the shop. You will purchase. He may either give you the discount for the tomatoes, or in spite of that, he may give you extra tomatoes because of purchasing the bulk thing. So that is known as cooperative farming. Cooperation, combining people together and doing all the necessary things. Now combination, how is done with the necessary things. What do you do? What farmers do? Farmers produce things, farmers cultivate. For the necessary things you need seeds, so you go and buy. If you go individual and buy the seeds, what happens, there will be no profitable for you. But what happens when the many of the people combine together and go and purchase the seeds, what happens, the shop owner might he may give you extra seeds, or he may reduce the price. That is one of the profitable thing. And even while marketing or while distributing or while selling the goods, what happens, it is also a profitable thing, where some of the people can work, where some of the people can do the marketing thing. By this, what happens, everything in the economy will go hand in hand, and it will be very favorable, or which it will be very easier for the people to distribute all these things in the economy. So cooperative farming also will help the farmers in a better way. So this is also one of the major reform made by the government. Okay, now we finished the land reforms. Now we'll come on to the general reforms. General reforms in a sense other than the land, which is related to land. First is the expansion of irrigation facility. Now first, what is irrigation facility? The water supply given to the land. Okay, so that is known as irrigation facility. So earlier what the people used to do? People used to depend upon the rains. So later on, when the facilities was given by the government, what happens? There was proper water supply to the food grains or the food crops. So this was what happened. 17% of the irrigation facility was increased to 40% of irrigation facility, where proper tube wells was situated, where proper water facilities was given by the government. So which was one of the greater thing which was made by the government to the farmers. And the next one is institutional credit. In earlier what we had a problem of finance. So now what did the institution credit tells? Institution credit is the situation of banks where the percentage of the loan, where the government will take will be of very less percentage of interest. So when it comes to cooperative and commercial banks or regional rural banks of 1975, and the main thing, National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, that is NABARD, in the year 1982. It is this NABARD is the apex body of the agricultural system of providing finance to all the farmers. Okay, they keep into mind about the development, they keep into mind about the loans taken by the farmers, they keep into mind about the percentage of interest to be put on the farmers, and all the necessary things. By this, what happened? By this, government gave one of the good reform under the institutional credit. And the next thing is the improvements in agricultural marketing. How the improvements in agricultural marketing is the regulated market, which is also known as the controlled market, and lastly the cooperative marketing society. So under the controlled market, what happens? The government controls all the market forces, that is demand and supply. The government will fix the price and do all the necessary things. Necessary things in the sense, when the government fixes a price, the private purchaser or the private people cannot exceed that price. That is the regulated or the controlled market by the government, which is helpful for the farmers, where what happens, the farmers will not get less paid or less income earned by them. So that is one of the better thing that is under control market. And second is the cooperative marketing society, where the people cooperatively come together and sell their food grains. What happens when some of the peoples come to them and when they start bargaining, what happens, the farmer is free to shift their selling process to another when the bargaining of the people or the private enterprises increases. So that is known as a cooperative marketing society, where the more and more members help the farmers in increasing the price of their food grains. So that is the improvements under the agricultural marketing. And lastly, the support price, which is very much important for you to remember or for you to know. The support price is MSP. Now what is this MSP mean? Minimum support price. The meaning, I'll let you know. The minimum support price is an agricultural product price set by the government of India to purchase directly from the farmers. So now what does this particular government do? For 1 kg of rice, the government will fix a price of 30 rupees. Okay, for 1 kg of rice, the government will fix a price of 30 rupees. So now what can a farmer do? Farmer can go to government and sell it to rupees 30, or he can go to the private enterprises to increase the money. If the private enterprises tell, I will give you for 35 rupees or 31 rupees, what happens, the farmer is free to sell to anyone if there is increase in the price. But what happens when the private enterprise tells, no, I will give only for 25 rupees, no, I will give only for 28 rupees. At that particular point of time, what happened, there was decrease in the amount when compared to government. Now the farmer, he can go to government and sell his product for 30 rupees in spite of 28 rupees. Understood what is minimum support price? Where the government fixes a percentage amount, where in my example, I had fixed of rupees 30, and later the farmer is free to sell it to private enterprise only when there is increase in the price. When there is decrease in the price, he can come to the government and sell it to the government. So this is the minimum support price. Okay, this was about the agricultural reforms, where the problems of the agriculture was changed into the reforms or change in the structure of the agricultural sector. And the assignment part, what do you mean by land reforms? What do you mean by land ceiling? And mention its purpose and write a short note on land reform. Thank you, students.